Hi, and welcome to KC Unmuted. I'm Alyssa.
I'm Janessa.
I'm Cassidy.
I'm Emma.
So, STLP stands for Student Technology Leadership Program. And we started this project because here at Knox Central High School, we have a very diverse student population. And while that is a very good thing to have, there are a lot of student voices that go unheard and unnoticed. So this unmuted podcast is to bring those voices to light and to unmute them.
In this project, we're going to be asking monthly questions and reading everybody's responses. So, the question of the day is, what is something you wish you would have said?
One of the responses we got back was, I'm sorry.
So, how does that make you guys feel? Like, just hearing that, all they said was, I'm sorry. Out of the 19 responses, all we got was, I'm sorry.
I feel like there's more depth to it. Like, it's definitely deep, but very short.
Yeah, it's two words, but those two words, like there's so many different ways that you could take that. Like, I'm sorry. It's like 1,000 different ways.
It means so much. Could it just be, could it be very deep, or is it just a simple, I'm sorry? I like this response out of all the ones that we read off camera because it's so relatable. Everybody can relate to it. And it's just, I don't know, there's just something about it. It really hits all of us in the heart. Have you guys ever been sorry?
Many, many, many times.
Okay.
But it's hard. At least for me, it's hard for me to step up and actually say, I'm sorry. So
yeah, I'm kind of like that too. If it's something little like, oh, I stepped on your shoe, yeah, I'll say I'm sorry. But if I hurt you really bad, I don't know why, it's just so hard for most people to say, I'm sorry. Guess it has a little bit of vulnerability to it.
I don't know, I'm the exact opposite. I apologize for everything.
I think it also depends on, like, your household environment. Because, like,
how you grew up.
yeah, if
true.
your parents don't apologize for a lot of stuff, personally, I feel like it's not weird to say I'm sorry, but it's very, like, different to say I'm sorry.
Yeah, you just don't know how to go about it.
Yeah, the way your parents do reflects onto you.
Yeah, and most parents, at least mine, I'm gonna speak for myself. My parents, they're very entitled. So they feel like they don't have to apologize to children because they're adults and they don't need to apologize. When in all actuality, everybody needs to be held accountable for their actions. If you do something wrong, whether you're 21, 52, or 8 years old, you need to apologize. So, yeah, I do like this response. I like this response.
It's also good to apologize because it gives a sort of reassurance, I guess.
Yeah, like you don't know if that I'm sorry could change someone's like day or something.
Yeah.
Well, not only is the person you're apologizing to, does that benefit them because, you're fessing up like, hey, I did something wrong and I'm so sorry about that. But also yourself, it kind of takes the weight off your shoulders, like whatever you did or thought or felt, it's okay. Like you apologize. It's off of you and onto the air to vaporize and disappear.
Is there anything that you guys are really sorry about or from the past or now?
I would say if I could apologize about something or to somebody, I would definitely apologize to my mom because obviously I wasn't alive then, but I was background knowledge. I don't live with my mother anymore because a certain stuff happened and I'm not with her anymore, but I would apologize for the way she grew up. I would apologize for the things she went through that caused her to turn to certain undesirable objects for relief. I would apologize because I think that the school system failed her.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A lot of like, not back then, because obviously it wasn't back then. That wasn't that long ago. My mom's like 30-something years old, so it was only like 20 years ago or something. But, like, I just feel like a lot of stuff could have been handled so much differently. Like, I feel like back in, like, not the 80s and, like, the 70s, I feel like school systems didn't really care a lot about the kids. Like, there's so much more they could have done, like... I just think that she should have been given a better opportunity to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So I would apologize for the way I would apologize for her past, and if I could, I would go back in time and I would step in and be that person to be like shake her awake. Hey, this is not the right path. This is not the way you want to go. So that's what I would say I'm sorry for. I'm sorry for the way you grew up, Mom.
Oh,
That's good. That's really good.
that's a really good
We're
one.
sad.
Emma, Cassidy, what about
Sorry.
you guys?
Very deep. How about you, Melissa?
Me? Switching it on me? Okay. What I'm sorry about is to the future generations. I feel like we failed them in so many different ways. We, as in the
current
world, like
generation.
the current generation. I'm not talking about like Gen Z. I'm talking about
No, it wasn't us.
I'm talking about everybody, like millennials, boomers, anybody that is living on this planet right now, because it's been so many years, but we're damaging the planet so much. And I think a lot of people don't realize how big of a deal that is.
Mm-hmm.
But if the world or if the planet is still livable in like 20 years, who's to say that those kids in 20 years, they're going to get our crumbs. They're going to get what we left for them. And it could be horrible. And they have to live with that. They have to live in terrible conditions. So like heat waves, or it's just too cold to go outside. You could probably die. It's just really bad right now. And I think a lot of people don't really educate themselves on how climate change is right now. And like, it's not just, hey, start using metal straws and stop using plastic bags. There's so much more to it. And I don't know, I'm just sorry for those kids. But like, it's happening sooner than we think. Like any of us at this table right now, if we have kids in like 10 years, a lot's going to happen even in a year, way before you even have children. And I don't know, it's just, we didn't have to fail them like that.
I don't think it's that people aren't educated about the topic. I think it's that, and I'm guilty of this too, but I think that people literally walk around this earth and they feel like everything revolves around them. And they don't take, like, we're so small.
Mm-hmm.
We are so small. There's like, 7 billion people on this earth, and there's so many things going on. But the only thing we think about is our daily lives. Like, oh, I'm going to be late to work, or oh, I have this project at school. When in all actuality, you have a project at school, but the polar ice caps are melting in Antarctica.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much bigger than just us, and we don't realize that because we're all self-centered, not even self-centered, but just so focused on me and I and my, and not who and what and how.
Yeah. I read this article, and it was saying how with the Willow Project going on, for those of you who don't know what the Willow Project is, it is this, they're trying to get oil from Antarctica, and it was passed recently. But because it was passed, it's damaging the polar bears. Like, polar bears could be extinct by 2025. And that's just insane. Like, we know what polar bears are.
Is it only polar bears that are going to
It's probably more, but I just read
the animals
over there, in Antarctica, but I just read more on polar bears. But it's just crazy that there's going to be these little kids who will never know what a polar bear is. I don't know. It's just insane to me that the world changes so much and so fast, and we don't even know it. Because like you said, we're so focused on like these other little things in our lives that we don't really notice what's going on.
Like, dodo birds to us is going to be polar bears to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dinosaurs to us is going to be polar bears to them.
Yes.
They're going to be looking at it in a textbook.
You know the like Rio bird, that how they're extinct now, the bluebirds?
Mhm.
Well, like, we knew what they were because of the movie, but you show that to, like, my little cousin, he's 12. he wasn't alive when that movie came out. But if I show that movie to him now, he's not even gonna know. Okay. I'm probably wrong.
How old is that
I'm
movie?
probably wrong. Okay. I take that back. I have a little cousin who's like 4. Okay, they 100% weren't alive when that movie came out. But if you show them that, they're just gonna think it's just a movie about some birds. Like they're never gonna know
birds.
that. Yeah. They're not even know they were real. I don't know. It's just insane how that can just happen so quickly around us.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It is sad.
It is very sad.
It is. I thought animals could live for like ever. Like they'd always be around. But even rhinos are going extinct. Like that's insane.
It's all because of like human influence.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause
definitely.
We're just too selfish to like realize what we're doing, and
And then it's gonna kick us in the butt.
yeah, then there'll be no animals, and then what are we gonna do?
Okay. Enough about climate change. Emma, what are you sorry about?
Mine's kind of similar to Janessa's. I think that if 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 I had to say sorry, well, not if I had to, if I had a chance to say sorry, I would apologize to my parents because I think that I think they weren't able to live out their childhood as they should have been able to because their parents were kind of older and they died before they could like see my mom and dad get married or see my mom and dad have kids. So it's just kind of sad, and I feel really bad because I feel like I should be taking advantage of my parents like as long as I can because they didn't have the opportunity. Like my dad's dad didn't get to see him graduate. So I feel like I should take like I don't know. I feel like I should be more grateful.
Yeah, I'd probably be really upset if my parents didn't see me graduate.
Yeah.
The world's unfair, and it's
It
just,
is.
I don't know, it's just crazy. Everything is crazy.
That's
Would
what I would
you-
say sorry for.
Would you say that your parents not having parents growing up has that affected like how they brought you up? Like, is there
Yeah.
a lack of or anything?
Yeah, for sure. I think okay, my mom's mother had cancer when she was like she got diagnosed with cancer when my mom was like 10, 11 maybe.
Wow.
So the whole time my mom was growing up, she had to learn how to do stuff for herself. Like she didn't have her mom to cook her dinner or do her laundry, so she had to do it herself. And I think that has made my mom really independent. So she has taught me to be very independent. So
That's good.
because of her experiences, I feel like I don't rely on other people to do stuff for me.
That's good.
Like if I
That's
want it
good.
done, I get it done myself.
That's good, but
That
it's
is
also
a-
not
It's
good.
also
It
not-
could be
Yeah.
stressful at times.
It is.
Especially having to do that at a young age.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, people mature at a certain age, but I have never enjoyed like the fact that some kids mature at a really young age. You should not have to do that. At the age of when you're 8, you should be having fun, playing video games
Yeah.
or playing with toys. You shouldn't have to mature that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, at 8, you should not be worrying about, oh, well, I have to make sure my siblings are fed and clothed and
Exactly.
bathed, and I have to make sure I also have those, like,
Mhm.
necessities.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like my parents are good now. Like, they learn to live with it and cope with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, they learn to do stuff on their own, and they're fine. I mean, I don't know. It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's very like we're
Understand.
taking advantage of our situations, and we
Mhm.
don't realize what other people are going through or have went through.
I agree with that.
And then like you complain about your parents,
Yeah,
and it's like at least I have parents, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
it's very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad doesn't like talking about his dad because my dad's dad died whenever he was like 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't really like talking about it, and that's awful because I don't know. I don't know much about my grandparents, but I understand why they don't want to talk about it because it's
It's definitely a hard topic.
a very hard topic.
Yeah.
Period.
Anyways, yeah, that's it.
You probably mentioned this, but I kind of forgot. How old were your parents when they lost their parents?
My mom was a senior, I think, in high school.
Mm-hmm.
It was like January, February, and then my mom was graduating in May. It was like right before she graduated.
Wow.
And my mom lived on her own. It's a very big situation, but her dad kind of like went crazy and stuff and left. Not necessarily left, like he had his own demons to fight with or whatever.
Yeah.
And so my mom lived alone whenever she was 18 at her house or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So she was alone and a senior in high school, and she just had to, her sisters and brothers paid the bills for her and stuff.
So I think the big thing about when you lose your parents when you're mature versus people who lose their parents as kids, like when they're young, they don't remember much. But when you lose your parent, when you're like a senior, like 18 and 19, you remember everything. And like that makes the loss so much harder.
Yeah.
So,
Like you have all of those memories to deal with.
Yeah.
And you have to learn to live with, they raised you. You have to learn to live without.
Yeah.
And all those years, like you don't know.
Isn't it? I just think it's crazy how our family or parents, they get to see us literally grow from day one.
Yeah.
Like from when you're first born to however old you are now. But we only get to see them grow for like a certain percentage of their life. Like we didn't get to see them when they were teenagers. We just saw them in their 30s or
It's like
something.
crazy to think that they had a life before us.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not their main life. Like,
And then like who knows, in the future that's could end up being you.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
it's weird to think that this is very off topic, but it's weird to think about I'm going to have children and they're going to see me the same way.
Yes.
Like, oh, you had a life before me? Oh, you went to high school too?
Yeah.
You went to high school? Like, this is weird.
Or when like my mom, right? She listens to all different types of music. So growing up, whenever she would play a song, I'd always be like, ugh, that's what you used to listen to? Or I'd be like, I'd kind of make fun of her. But it's like the stuff that we consider good now, who knows what music will be like in the next 20 years. Our children are probably going to be like, who is The Weeknd? Nicki Minaj, who?
They're going to be like Taylor Swift. Ew, that's so 2023.
But like, I sometimes catch myself listening to older songs like the Backstreet Boys or ABBA, I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, wow, this is so good. Yes, but then picture like in 20 years, our children are like, oh my gosh, Mom, I found this song from 2016 and it was from Macklemore and it was so good. And then they are like, I wish I was born in your time. What? That just baffles me. Like,
no way.
all these top artists that we listen to now are we're so off topic, I'm sorry, but all these top artists that we listen to now, a lot of them are getting old. And when we have kids, when they retire, it's just going to be so weird.
Not even just to mention artists, like actors that we grew up
actors
watching.
too,
They're getting
yes.
old. They might not even exist whenever we have kids.
What if they die?
It's
what
gonna
are we
be
gonna do when
upset.
Taylor Swift dies?
Well, you know how like older celebrities now, when they die, and every like older people, millennials, they'll just go insane, and we're just like, who was that person?
Yeah.
Wait for the day that like Chris Evans dies or something.
That will be crazy.
We are the world,
Insane.
our generation will go insane.
The world
Chris
will
Evans
end.
is gonna be like James Dean to us.
True.
Like how he was like the charmer back then.
Yes.
Ours is like
Or
Chris
like,
Evans.
what's his name?
What if
What's
Adam
his name
Sandler
that passed
dies?
away?
Adam
Adam
Sandler.
Sandler's not
Adam
gonna die. He's
Sandler.
immortal.
That's just so crazy. Okay. Let's go back on track now and talk and go back to what this whole thing's about. Cassidy, when have you ever felt like saying sorry, or when have you been sorry? I guess.
I kind of want to be sorry to like my past self because like I've done things that are bad that I can't take back anymore. But all I can do is say I'm sorry. Then there's nothing else I can do except change. And then there's things I've done to myself that I don't personally like. I wish that never happened.
Yeah.
You know. And it's like a mental toll on me now that those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate looking back on myself like that. But I'm a changed person now. I feel like I'm good.
That's good.
Wow.
I feel like a lot of us have stuff from our past we would like to change, but that's what helps us grow and like be better as humans, I guess.
Yeah, you have to forgive yourself for the things you did.
Okay, so before we sign off, let's each give ourselves a little response to this person. By the way, these submissions are completely anonymous, so we do not know who said I'm sorry. But do any of you have something you'd like to say to this person before we go?
Me. I.
What's
So,
up, Cassidy?
we have no idea what the situation is and who you are, but it's never too late to say I'm sorry. So, like,
Yeah.
if you feel the need that you feel like you have to say sorry to someone or to yourself or anything, it's not too late. Like, you can go and do that. And I hope that this has convinced you to do so.
I would tell this anonymous sender that I think the first step in apologizing is recognizing that you need to apologize and recognizing that you did do something wrong and that you are the problem. So I think by even submitting this and admitting, even though we don't know who you are, admitting that you need to apologize is a big step, and now all that's left to do is to
Say it.
take the step, do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Wow, I agree with both of you. Like, you said what needed to be said. If you're listening to this, to the person who said this, it's definitely not too late to say I'm sorry. Even if it happened months ago, years ago, days ago, still do it, because that person, even whether they forgot about it or not, it could still mean a lot to them. And I hope this gave you some courage or helped you out a little bit to let you know that you're not alone. That a lot of us struggle to say I'm sorry. And I just want to say, hope you're doing good. You know? Yeah, you're not alone. You got this. I believe in you. We believe in you.
Casey Unmuted believes in you.
Exactly. Okay, so
Wait. So, anonymous sender number 1, you have been unmuted.
yes. And this is Casey Unmuted signing off. Bye, guys.
Bye.